Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Team Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Crystal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all with us. I am so excited to have this show with you today. I'm so excited. We have a lot for you, including an update that a lot of you all are waiting for, and I am waiting for as well. But before we get into everything that we have for you today, you know how I got to start the show. Crystal, how are you, my friend?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm so tired. I'm so tired right now. It has been a very long week. We did not really get into it in our pre-show meeting, though I'm sure we'll go over it a little bit more in our post-show meeting. I had my full week with the job, and it was a very humbling experience, I will say that much. I can't say too much because while the film has been announced, we're as crew members, we're not really allowed to say much until they kind of give us permission to do so. But the week itself was very humbling. I will say the first 3 days were very tough for me. At some point during those days, I was really like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I even though I had been on set for the past couple of years, I was in a completely different completely different department, one that's, no longer a thing anymore, one that I never really had a choice in the beginning, because it was either be in that department or not being in any departments at all. And so I chose to be in the department just so I would be able to be on set and try to network and meet people. And so while I do know what it takes to, make film and television and how sets are run and, all this other stuff, being a PA is what you're supposed to do when you first start out. And I don't know, I guess I had a different expectation when I started. Like, I just thought I would be better at what I was doing. And in a lot of ways, I felt like I had regressed. Like, all the years I had been on set previously were like meaningless somehow. So it was a tough experience in the beginning, but by the end of the week, I started to find my stride. I started to figure things out, kind of learn a routine for myself that made me look better than what I felt I was looking in the beginning of the week. But it was definitely a humbling experience. I will be back. I'm actually going back tomorrow. I don't know how often I will get to work because I am not considered a full-time person on this film, but they did say they'll need a lot of additional PAs throughout the filming of this portion, so I do hope to be back often. But yeah, it was a tough week, especially for my feet. My poor feet. Oh man. I had to buy new shoes. I had to buy a new watch. Like, it was my poor feet. I told Timmy, he texted me on Saturday, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to get a massage. Like, I booked a hand and foot massage and a 45-minute thing. I was like, because my feet were killing me this whole week. I was not expecting that. The last time I had to adjust to being on a film set, I want to say it only took like 2 or 3 days for my feet to kind of adjust. This time, a whole week, and I was still not adjusted, still in pain.
Damn, that's wild.
That's the only thing I'm not looking forward to is being on my feet.
I'm so happy for you. I think what you were saying is very, very relatable. I know a lot of people in the audience can identify with what you were saying about, sometimes when you start something new, especially when you go into, what you want your career to be, and especially when you study for it and you think you have it, and then you get put into the real thing. Sometimes it is like, damn, did I learn anything? Do I know anything?
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to find places that will give you that room to really grow and apply what you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting harder and harder these days. It's like people are getting so accustomed to everything being like immediate now that they want humans to be that way as well. So there's really no room for being new. Like, you really got to fake the funk until you
Yeah.
really, are comfortable with the stuff. So I'm glad that you had the opportunity to ground yourself throughout the week
Mhm.
and feel stronger by the end of the week and go into this week, with more comfortability with what you're doing.
Yeah, especially because, like I said, I did have an interview with them early on for because there's different I guess there's different levels, which I didn't really know. There is staff PA and then there's the additionals where even though you're not a staff, you could work as often as a staff.
No, no, no. Go
Um
ahead.
but the staff PA are very much like it's just almost a higher level. Like the staff PA people are usually people who have been on set several times as a PA, or at least once time as a PA. So, but I mean, there are people on there that this is their first film and they're a staff PA. So that's one thing that was a little humbling because it was like there are people who this is their first film, and I felt like I didn't understand why I was where I was when even though I haven't been a PA, I had at least been on set several times,
Uh-huh.
which was frustrating. But I think one of the biggest things was, like I said, I just didn't feel like I was showcasing myself in the best light, especially because the very first day I um, came to crew parking, I saw two people that I knew were PAs. I was like, "Oh, hi." I introduced myself, and as soon as I said my name, they were like, "Oh my god, we've heard such good things about you." And I was just like, "From who?" And
For real?
yeah, they were like, "From the AD team." And I'm like, "Really?" Because I interviewed with them and they didn't give me a position, so I just assumed I messed up. They didn't they weren't really impressed with me. They were like, "Oh no, we had a whole big meeting and they called out the names of the additionals, and when they said your name, there were several people who were very excited to have you." And I was like, "Okay, that makes me nervous."
Okay. Right, right.
So to have had that and then
Mm.
to have um performed the way I did, because the biggest problem with me was being in what we call lockups, that stuff, it's very what you see is what you get. Like you're in a position, you just have to make sure either no one comes through your position, you don't let anything disrupt the scene. That's kind of on the easier side for the most part. My biggest problem, which should be easy, was when all of our stuff, all of the whole crew is on one side of the camera and the camera then flips so that everything is being seen. We have to what we call flip the world. So we have to bring all of that stuff to the other side of the camera. It's a bit of a process, but it's all hands on deck. Everyone has to help out. The problem is that unless you're a part of that department, you're not allowed to touch any of their stuff. Nothing. So
Ah.
that's what I struggled with, was being helpful, because I didn't know what I didn't know. I would go up to people like, "Hey, can I help you?" And they're like, "No, you're not allowed to touch any of this stuff. Like, we're good, thank you, but no thank you." Stuff like that. And I'm just like, so I'm standing
Yeah.
in the middle of set just like floundering because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to help. They're saying
Uh-huh.
all hands on deck, but I don't know how to be all hands on
Be on
deck.
deck.
Yeah,
Right.
nobody
Yeah.
was saying, "Hey, grab that, do this." Like it was so eventually I really learned that when it comes to the locations department, they're the ones who generally deal with the public. They're the ones who deal with like making sure when we're on location that we have everything we need in terms of tents and chairs and trash cans and all that stuff. Anything locations is pretty much fair game. Go grab the
Uh,
trash cans and bring them over. Go grab and stand by a tent and be ready to be one of the 4 people that has to move the tent to the other location. Like, it took until Thursday for me to kind of realize, as long as I'm standing by something to do with locations, then I'm good. I'm going to
right.
have something to
Right.
do. I can be useful. I'm not just going to be standing in the middle of the set looking lost, because that's what I felt for the first couple of days, was just
Mm.
lost.
But you
Um
know what? There is value in the fact that you realize that and apply that throughout the week. Because some people would have just gone through the week and been like, you know what, I don't know what to do, so I'm just not gonna do anything.
right,
Like
right.
some people would take that and be like, okay, so
Yeah,
that means I'm not supposed to do anything. Great.
right.
I'm just gonna take this check and be on by my way. And people will notice that and be like,
Mhm.
oh, well, girl, we're not gonna have them back. But
Yeah.
since they actually seen that, okay, she adapted. Like she saw,
Mhm.
like, okay, I can. Bitch, if it would have been me,
'Cause
I don't
that's what
know.
I'm
I don't know if
ultimately.
I would have put two and two together. I would have asked somebody like, what do y'all want me to do here? Because
Right.
I'm feeling real unnecessary, you know?
Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt. I just felt so unnecessary. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't know how to be helpful to you guys, and I want to make a good impression. I want you guys to see value in me and to want me
Right.
to be on your team, knowing
Uh-huh.
that I'm going to be helpful.
Exactly.
So I'm hoping, you know, it's I think it's a good thing that I got called back for Monday, and I'm hoping that I am finally starting to showcase that to the best of my
We
ability, and that once this movie is ended, I will have, you know, gotten more responsibilities, gained some more knowledge, more insight, and be a better, you know, production crew moving forward, you know? So we'll
Well,
see.
shout out to you, Krista, and best of luck going into this next week. By the
Thank you.
time y'all hear this, the week will be over. So
Yes.
y'all send all your good energy for the next update that you get that everything
Yes.
went
You
well.
might see an even more haggard appearance. Like I
Okay,
might
girl, because yeah, these next couple weeks is definitely be interesting for us.
Yes.
Speaking of interesting, I have something that you might find a little interesting. I have a little
Mm.
game for you,
Oh,
Crystal. One of
you.
your favorite games from what I hear. Um, I have a little would you rather. You want to play a little
Oh,
would you rather?
I would love to play. I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time listening or seeing this podcast, Would You Rather is a game that Crystal and I play is very familiar to the version that you have probably played at home. In our version, we have 5 Would You Rather questions, and they are going to get increasingly more difficult. So way to get to know Crystal, because I don't answer these. Because y'all ain't getting in my
You
business.
kind of answer them.
You I either concur or I judge you. So let's see
Yes,
how
that
we
is
do
true.
today.
But before we do get started, I do want to give
Okay.
a shout out to one of our commenters,
Oh
a
yes,
Miss
yes.
Erica Carter. She actually gave
Mhm.
answers on the last time we did Would You Rather, which I think was a good couple episodes, like episode like
Yeah.
28 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And just a quick shout out to some of her answers because she agreed with me on a few of them. The first one was about if we wanted to be able to see a ghost or not, and she said
Yeah.
she would want to see them because if she can't, she wouldn't want to have. Sorry, she didn't want to see them because if she could, she'd try to catch them like a Ghostbuster, which I get you. She wanted to. We asked if you would rather have all your memories taken away so far this year or all the money. She said take the money. Um, if you wanted to be in a dark room with a tarantula or if you wanted to eat worms, she said dark room. Girl, same. Obviously, don't listen to Timmy. Weird. Anyways,
I
and
ain't even going there.
for the fourth one, she said she'd rather fight an orangutan once a year instead of a chicken every day.
Thank you.
That was a weird one, but I
Absolutely.
get it, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then she said Wilson for the fifth one in the Tom Hanks voice, and that was in regards to the question of if you were stranded on this, if you were on a stranded island with your sibling and a dog, would you kill your dog to feed your sibling or let your sibling starve and die? I'm assuming
So
that's
did
a
she just cop out of
non-answer.
that one?
I think she did. I think she just
I
was
think
like,
she did. She
so
ain't want to answer that one,
she didn't want to
girl.
answer that. So I'm
That's
assuming your
not how the game is
siblings.
played. That's not how the game is played. Over here on Would You Rather See in Crystal's podcast, you got to answer or you're blocked. I'm playing.
You're not blocking. Okay.
So, Crystal, are you ready to play this installment of Would You Rather?
Yes, I am. Let's go
All
for it.
right, here we go. Would you rather, number one, would you rather have hiccups for the rest of your life or constantly feel like you have to sneeze? Which one you want?
Oh God, that is the most irritating.
Mm.
Both of those are super irritating.
Oh, child.
It's
This is a
like
slam dunk for me.
it is because it's like having that constant feeling of having to sneeze. Like I would constantly be moving my nose, but then having like, can you imagine having hiccups like
Oh,
in the middle of everything? You know what? I couldn't have
everything.
hiccups in my line of work. We have when we're rolling, we have to be silent. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
They're never
Can
going
you
to let me near set. I'm going to have to say the sneezing feeling just because it's silent. It's a
Yeah,
silent struggle.
I'm with you because hiccups give me, like, I literally, damn near get depression if I get hiccups because they give me the worst. It's the only time that I get headaches, and they are like, if I get them, it's for the rest of the day. Not until I go to sleep at night will that headache go away. So I'm with you
that's
100%
crazy.
on that one. Next, would you rather walk in on your parents having sex or have them walk in on you having sex?
I
What
don't want
flavor
anyone.
you on? What type of freaky shit you on, Crystal?
I don't. And I.
Yeah, girl. Go ahead. Give it to us.
I have walked in.
Why you wait till I took a sip? You almost made me ruin my
I'm not
computer.
gonna say which. I'm not gonna say which, and I'm not gonna explain the situation either.
Yeah, don't tell a business. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want them to see me like that. I don't want to see them like that.
Girl.
But since I've already had that, I mean, I guess me walking in on the parent one, maybe.
And you know what? I'm not gonna judge you for that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna judge you for that. I'm not. For me personally, I think I would rather them walking on me. I think. I'm pretty sure. I mean, currently, no.
Right. What do you mean currently? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got what you mean.
You know,
because I'm like, you trying to say your situation's gonna change? What?
No.
I was about to say, what do you mean?
No, just because it's a possibility. But no.
I'm gonna get a text later this week like,
right. I think I would rather live with the shame of being seen than the shame of seeing. You know, I think I could get over that.
It's a difficult.
Because for me, I don't have to live with it. Like if I know I was tearing that thing down, I'd be like, shit, you see me at my best. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't so many more times. You know, you see me at my prime. Anyway, the next would you rather? Would you rather be on death row for a crime you didn't commit and the most important person in your life is free, but they committed the crime? Or be free, but the most important person in your life is on death row for a crime you committed?
No, it would have to be me on death row. I wouldn't be able to live with the guilt of knowing that the person I loved and cared for the most was dying for a crime I committed. I don't think, because I feel like I would just live a very miserable life. So then what's the point?
But what if the crime you committed was stealing all of the money from Elon Musk's bank account?
Why am I dying for that?
Why
am I dying for that? Why am I on death row for that?
He a billionaire. He got all his money. He can persuade the courts to, and the United States of America do not play with money crimes. Okay? They will hang your ass like they did back in the 1800s, okay? Over some money today.
Yeah.
Okay. I can give that, though.
Yeah. I think I'll stick with my answer.
You go, okay. Shout out to you.
Thanks.
Because if it were me, good luck.
I'm gonna see you every day till the end.
Until the end, okay.
I'll be there.
We know the date.
I'll be there for the final. Going. Thanks for taking one.
Your last days, especially if it's a money crime. Oh, baby, you finna live it up. I'm putting money on your books. You finna have a good time in them last 48 days you got. I'm telling you, finna be the best of your life. Anyway, would you rather have all of your teeth pulled out with pliers one by one, or have your hair pulled out by each individual follicle until there's no hair left?
Hair.
Oh,
I think hair.
You've been tripping this whole would you rather, and I've been trying to keep my tongue to myself. You would rather have each, Crystal, you got a lot of hair now.
I do have a lot
You'd
of
rather have
hair.
each
But if it's a
hair pulled
single
out?
strand each time, I don't think that hurts as much as when you're literally pulling teeth out. Like if
I
you think
mean, okay.
I've pulled my strands out of my head millions of times just trying to brush this thing. So if you're doing it individually, I just don't think it's going to be as painful. It might be sore by the end because it's a lot of hair,
It's
but
a long time.
it is a long time, but it's
'Cause
less
it's a,
painful in my opinion. And like my
what you
hair will
got,
grow
30 some
back.
teeth?
I was about to say my hair will grow back. Your teeth aren't going to grow back. You're going to have to get dentures, and then you're not going to be able to eat certain things for the rest of your life.
But some of y'all need dentures now. We might, and some of y'all ain't got all y'all teeth no way. It may be 4-5 teeth tops.
Look, okay, but you're talking about me. I have all my teeth.
You got all your teeth. You're right.
And I could
You're right.
I could just get a wig or something. So
Right.
I'm going to
Right.
say the hair.
Okay.
I put thought
Okay.
into this.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they had to at this length? Can you imagine if they had to pull this shit out at
Now,
this
see,
length?
I don't know if that hurts worse than what if they pulling my hair. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, that's crazy. Okay, you ready for the last one?
Yes.
Okay. If you knew your birth brought about the apocalypse and you had a choice, would you rather go back in time and prevent yourself from being born, or continue how things are, knowing you're the cause of the end times? You can't get out of this one, huh?
But like, do I survive the end of times? Do I just live in a post?
Nobody survives the end of times. This is the
post.
end times.
I mean, like the post-apocalyptic world. You know how they
there's no
have
such
those.
a thing.
There's
It
no.
is the
It is
end
the end.
times. Boom, finality. So either way, you're out of here, girl.
But isn't that like for many people in religion? Like, isn't that the
Uh-huh.
thing that they're waiting for? Like the end of time? Aren't
Well,
we
if
supposed
you
to
think-
elevate?
well,
So maybe
if you
I'm
think you-
like,
Yeah, if you're going up
Maybe-
yonder to be with your Lord, then that may be
maybe
that
for
may be the
many
escape.
people, it would just
Oh.
I would be the coming of. You know?
Mm. And do you think people will see it that way?
Some people might.
Do you really think? Because you wouldn't want to tell nobody, because if they know that you
Right.
bringing on the end times, girl, you got to go.
I know. I'd be sitting in the room full of people going, "Yeah, who
Listen,
did this? I blame
listen.
them."
Because if they gave me the prophecy tomorrow and they said, if Crystal don't get out of here by the end of the month, I'm like, listen, I don't know who I need to talk to, but and my next call is to you, girl. They coming for you.
morally, I'd probably go back in time and off myself, to save humanity.
Well, you are nice, because I would do the opposite. Fuck the world, bitch. We're out of
But then
here.
again,
I gotta go either way.
it's like if we're going down anyways, we might as well all go together. Enjoy. You guys should have the privilege of enjoying my presence while you can. So.
Oh, egg. Now you making sense. See how you came back around at the end. I am looking forward to hearing you all's answers. I will
Yes.
try to remember to actually post these Would You Rathers in the description section if you are watching on YouTube. So if you miss any of these, answer them. If you answer them, copy the text, paste it into the YouTube, and put your answers underneath. That way we could just read them straight out and we know exactly what you're talking about. So much easier. So anyway, continue on with the show, Crystal. I think the very much anticipated updates to our story from last week are up next, and I can't wait to hear it. I can't, because where we left off, oh my God.
Okay, so for anyone who has not seen last episode, the last story that we started was about a woman who found out that her husband was cheating on her with their son's 18-year-old girlfriend, who the son has been dating since they were a freshman in high school. So I did read the initial story and I read one update. So we technically have two updates to this. I'm going to read the third update in full. Why? Look, my screen is excited too. I didn't do anything.
Girl, that computer is cutting up today. It is cutting. I don't know what. It must be feeling good. You must have plugged the socket in just right.
I
Mm.
know.
Because it is
But
feeling
it's
frisky this evening.
I was about to say it's really happy. So
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna read the third update and then the fourth update. It's a lot of filler stuff. So I'm just gonna skim through it and just tell you the most important parts. Of course, if you would like to read it in full, the title is "My Husband of 20 Years is Cheating on Me with Our Son's 18-year-old Girlfriend." Update. Okay, so
I'm so ready. I am so ready
okay, let
to
me make
cuss
sure I'm
his
reading the
ass
right
out
one. I know.
all over again. Because
Okay,
he
here we go.
deserves.
He deserves it. Okay, so she starts off by saying, "We are all safe and still at my brother's house. We're very careful and his house is secured. Paul, her husband, has tried to call my cell phone several times a day. I'm refusing to interact with him and I will have my lawyers handle all correspondence. He scares me, frankly. My brother has a very secure house with an alarm system and deadbolt locks. We feel safe with him. Both my son and I got checked and tested. It appears so far that we're both clean based on the immediate rapid test, but in the coming days we'll know for certain when the lab results come in. I'm not overly concerned. Eric, our son, is scheduled to see a therapist early next week, which is very good and needed. He's not himself right now. He seems a bit shell shocked, and I am concerned. He's internalized a lot, and it's hard to get a read on what's going on in his head. That being said, he's thoughtful and has been talking with me, asking me how I'm doing and everything. He's not interested in corresponding with his dad at all. He calls only my cell phone, and he hasn't tried to reach out to either Eric or Mary, their daughter. I get the sense that Paul is extremely nervous. He's scared and I think deep down knows that if investigated thoroughly, he would be in big trouble. That's what my gut is telling me. I still think about the Zoom call with him, and the more I think about it, the more it looked like he was a man whose entire world was crashing down on him. The panic in his face was very apparent. I offered Mary for me I offered to make an appointment for Mary with a therapist as well, but she doesn't want to see one yet. She said she's open to it eventually but wants time to herself. She's been asking her friends about her dad and if they experience any creepiness from him. Her friends were open and honest with her, and apparently they felt like he stared a lot and sensed his hovering presence whenever they were over. One of Mary's friends went so far as to say that she felt like he was checking her out a lot, like looking at her rear and complimenting the color of her yoga pants. At the time, no issues were brought up about it, but in light of everything that has been happening, it seemed strange now. He would sit himself in different areas or vantage points to get a good view of her, she claimed. He also asked questions about what kind of a friend group or which clique they were in at school. He kept asking if they were popular girls, and I am completely embarrassed that they had this experience in our house. As for updates on Amy, which is the girl the husband was cheating on, which is the main reason I wanted to write this update. I completely agree that she is also a victim. A lot of people have been emphasizing that, and I agree. I've done everything I could in my own power to indirectly get her opportunities to get help. Like I said, I told her mother, and she's been updating me on everything. Amy, unfortunately, is still living in her deluded reality, and I can only pray that she'll eventually come to her senses. She doesn't want to see any doctors or therapists at all and has been constantly trying to reach Paul because, again, she believes that they are in love. From what I've been told, she's been unable to get a hold of him, and he's been avoiding communicating with her completely. Amy blames me for that and believes I took away his devices and am very controlling. Amy's truth, Amy tells her mother, sorry. Oh, sorry. Any truth that her mother tries to convince her is met with conspiracy theories and hostility. Amy looks at me as a villain and still sees Paul through rose-colored glasses. Her mother showed her screenshots of his dating app profiles and matches, and she refused to believe it, saying, I photoshopped it. According to her mom, Amy keeps saying things like, everyone is just mad because she found herself a real man, and that I'm jealous because she takes better care of him than I do. It's in line with some of the conversations I screenshotted, where a lot of what Paul is saying is him complaining about things I don't do for him sexually. Right now, she's insistent that she and Paul will be together in the long run. He's honestly just a slime ball to me at this point. She says, I can only hope that Amy comes to her senses, but me directly intervening doesn't feel like it would be productive at the moment. And maybe eventually, maybe ever eventually, something like that.
Oh,
She does say, let me just read a few of these. She does
mm-hmm.
say in the
Yes,
comments,
ma'am.
she says she believes that stuff happened before she was 18. She does believe that. And she said that she's not sure when things got physical or romantic. She does think he's been grooming her from the start, when she was introduced their freshman year, because this whole mentor and a friend thing that Amy alluded to had to have started right away. Because of the way she's acting now, being so indebted and believing every single thing he says shows that his effect on her had to be over a long period of time. And she's only turned 18 like 5 months ago. Her behavior and infatuation to him seems so strong, it couldn't possibly be only 5 months of them being together. And says, she thinks the only thing possible of Amy having an epiphany of the reality of her situation, um, sorry, she says the only thing we can really hang our hat on is the possibility of Amy having an epiphany of the reality of her situation. And she opens up candidly about when it began. But because she's 18 currently and has no interest in saying or doing anything that could potentially put Paul in legal trouble, nothing can really be done at the moment.
My God, my God, my God. Not this little girl is trying to Barbara. This is Shirley. You. That's crazy. The fact that she said, this is a song that I do this a lot. There are a lot of songs out there that relate to these stories. There's a song that where the lyrics go, "He's mine. You may have had him once, but I got him all the time." And I feel like that's that little girl, little Amy's attitude towards the wife.
Nice.
I commend the wife for having patience because I would have yoked that little bitch up and been like, look here, little hoe. I'm trying my best to not throw you off the side of a goddamn cliff, little girl.
Uh-huh.
But if you try to big man me, if you try to big titty me one more time, it's finna be you in a closed casket. Okay.
Mm.
Shout out to her for even because to me, trying to arrange for that girl to get mental health assistance is out of line for
Uh-huh.
me, right? Just because this isn't your child.
Right.
And and I understand this girl is a victim because she is. She is a victim, and we touched on that last episode. However, this little girl cannot be trusted, especially when she is still speaking about and to you in this manner and still trying to have a relationship with your hopefully soon to be ex-husband. As far as your ex-husband cutting contact with her, sir, it's a little too late
Uh-huh.
for you to try to play cleanup now. The thing that frustrates me so much about this story is the fact that I don't see a way for any legal remedies
Yeah.
to his actions. I don't see how it's gonna happen. I
Yeah.
mean, we've seen these stories before, right? Where these girls are manipulated and abused because that's what it is, no matter what it is. They think they're in control in those situations or not. They're being abused. They're being manipulated by these older men. And it
Um,
happens with boys and older women as well. So I'm not excluding that, but we're talking
mhm.
specifically about this situation and those similar to this situation. Along those gender lines. I have to we've seen before where these girls have, eventually realized what was happening to them and flipped, and then, something may be able to be done. But I feel like we so far down the road now that I really don't think anything is gonna happen to this man. And I feel really bad for the daughter's friends. Cause I don't my mama did not really allow us to go to other people's houses.
Mhm.
And you know what? That's a lie. She didn't allow me. I'm the oldest child, right? She ain't allow me to go to people's houses and stuff. Like if they had a birthday party, unless it was at Chuck E. Cheese or the park or somewhere public, she won't finna let me go to nobody's house for a birthday
Mhm.
party. So I remember all the way up through until like middle school, all the way up through elementary school, I won't go to no birthday parties. I would get my little invitations and be so excited, just knowing that I'm going home to get enough and to go and cry in my room because I knew I wasn't gonna be allowed to go. And I really didn't understand it and still don't until I was older. And I was like, okay, that was like a really, really big fear of hers that something is going to happen to me outside of her control because motherfuckers are weird. Motherfuckers are nasty. Like they will abuse your children without you, you know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that, you know, that happens all the time.
Right.
But if it happens far too often and it goes unchecked. So
Yeah. My childhood best friend, her parents wouldn't let her sleep over anyone's house. Like, we always had to go to her house, which in hindsight, fair, because the one time she did sleep over my house, we were 14, 15 or 15, 16. And it was the first time I drank anything because she decided to bring a bottle of vodka to the house.
Girl.
But she was stupid and decided to also bring the big bottle because she had filled up like an aqua fina bottle up, and then she decided to bring the big jug of vodka to the house. I don't know why.
Why would you bring both?
I don't know. She pulled out the water bottle. She pulled out the water bottle. I was like, okay, cool. And then she pulled out the jug, and I'm like, why? Why would you bring all this? She was like, I don't know. And lo and behold, that just happened to be the one night where her other siblings were out of the house as well. And her mom decided, well, all the kids are out, I'm going to have myself a little drink. Went to go get her vodka and saw it was missing. And she drove all the way down from their house, which is a good 40 minutes away, to my house. It was like 2 a.m. when she showed up, knocking on the door saying,
I know that's right.
She needs to come
Get
home.
Your shit. Why would your dumb ass, like, if you in my house and I seen that you bought both bottles, I would have been like, we need to call your mama right now. Because I'm no longer part of this because you fucked up the plans. You just told on us. And now I got to snitch on you. Because I'm not going down with you. I'm sorry. If my mama asked me, I ain't know nothing about it.
I didn't. Because we did have some of the one in the water in the water bottle. We didn't touch the other one. Gross as hell. But I remember she got picked up. My mom was the one who knocked on the door. By this time, she was wasted. Like, she had already thrown upside my window. I was cleaning everything up, getting ready to go to bed, when my mom knocked on the door and was like, your friend's mom's here. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, she's saying that she needs to come home. So I'm like, okay. So I go over to her. I'm like, hey, wake up. She wasn't waking up. I'm like slapping her on the face. I was like, wake up. And she wakes up. I'm like, your mom is here. She's like, what? She's so out of it. I'm like, your mom is here. She's like, okay. Like, she's so out of it that she's so calm. She's not even thinking about it because she's still drunk. So she gets up, she gets her stuff, she goes out. Her mom is waiting there. No one is saying anything to anyone. She goes to put her foot in her shoe, and she is completely missing every single time.
Oh my God.
Her mom had to lean down and help her, and then they left. And then we went to bed. My mom didn't say anything, but then the next morning, my mom was like, so why did she come pick her up? And so my first lie was, well, her dad, he works night. He didn't know that she was going to have a sleepover, and he was upset. So he told his wife that she needed to come pick him up.
That's a good
She was like, really? Because, I kind of walked by your room, and it kind of smells like alcohol, Crystal.
Never said that.
Yeah, Mom, it does. And I went in, I was like, because, I'm sorry. I don't want to say her name. She recently got out of the...
I'm going to have to beat that.
I know. I was like, she recently, that she had fainted from being dehydrated, so she was in the hospital. I was like, and she had those sticky things that weren't coming off. I was like, so we took the rubbing alcohol thinking it would help. I was like, and we spilled some. And I brought the bottle out and everything because it was in my room, because we did actually do that. We just didn't spill it. And she was like, oh, okay. That's why it smells like alcohol. Yep.
Girl.
That's why it smells like alcohol.
And she gonna watch this episode and be like, that lying bitch.
I already told her. I told her a good few years ago. She knows. She knows the real reason.
I know that's right. Isn't it nice to be able to tell your parents the shit that you was doing behind their back? I just had that moment with my mother, I think this past Christmas, where I was like, "Oh, you remember?" Because I was talking to my wife and we was talking about something, and I was coming to the point of the story where I realized, "Oh, you don't know this part." And then I was like, "Well, shit, I'm grown. I did this and that and this and that." And she was like, "Oh, boy." And I was like, "Girl, that was about what? 12, 15 years ago. What you
What
finna
you
do
gonna do
now?
now?
What you finna
We
do
can
now?
only
It's
laugh
over
about
with.
it.
It's over
Yeah.
with.
Thankfully,
It's over
I
with.
didn't really do too much. Like, I wasn't really, a wild or bad kid. I was very quiet,
Yeah.
but it's nice to
Mm-hmm.
tell her some of the stories nowadays.
Oh, right. We are similar in that regard. Like I didn't start drinking till I was, I think, 19. I had
Mhm.
never had liquor.
Mhm.
I was staunchly against underage drinking. Excuse me. Until one of my friend's birthdays, and it was my first year in college. Yeah, it was my first year in college. I had just turned 19, and I was like, you know what, girl, if we finna do it, we finna do it now. Cause I was tired. I had gone through the whole first semester of college, and everybody was drinking around me, and I was like, no, no, thank you, I don't drink. I'm just sitting there stone cold sober, the only sober person on campus,
Oh, I
I
know.
bet. And I
I
was
know.
like, oh hell no. This is not how this finna go. And then what they said on Little Women, Atlanta, bon appetit.
Well, we know how that worked out for me. So,
Mm. Yeah, girl,
yeah.
it was what they say, literally life and death.
You just
Are you
it
ready for the
never.
next story?
Yes. Well, first let me finish up. I do have one last
Oh, I
update to the
I
story.
forgot. I did.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Go
Like
ahead.
I said, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to give you the highlights of it. So she does say their divorce is very much underway. She's not going to get into specifics of it. She does have temporary custody of Mary, but Eric is 18. So, that's why she only has temporary custody of Mary. Paul also has to pay temporary child support and that there is a protective order. So Paul cannot contact them or come near them. And that she's just focusing on getting through the legal mess. She says she is very confident, divorce aside, that there's overwhelming evidence against Paul that will get him in serious trouble and it will impact him for the rest of his life. I'm sure eventually I can share more. I know a lot of people are concerned about his predatory ways. I hate to be vague right now, but justice will come. As for her kids, the Eric is still getting therapy. Mary is not ready for it, but she does say she is open to it in the future. But in spite of everything, they're both doing really well. As for uh, Amy and a lot of people are invested in Amy, and a lot of questions are about whether Eric and Amy will still see each other at school because she realizes that she made it sound like they went to the same school, but they actually don't go to the same school. Eric and Amy went to the same junior high school and knew each other even then, but Amy ended up going to an all-girls Catholic high school while Eric and Mary stayed in public school. So while they do live in the same town, they go to different schools. She says she wishes she had a better update for Amy, but it's gotten worse since the last update. Paul has actually been seeing Amy despite her mother trying to force her not to see him. She tells me that Amy says she's 18 and an adult and she can do what she wants. Her mother is in a curious spot because if she kicks Amy out of the house for defying her, something that she has threatened to do, which I think is a mistake, she would just run to Paul permanently. The time she spends with Paul has increased over the last week, and despite the fact that Paul had initially ghosted her when all of this first hit the fan, there were some days where Amy would just be gone for hours on end. There's only so much I can do with the Amy situation, but again, I do believe things will turn around soon with that, given what I know about Paul and what's to come. I can only pray that Amy can get help and guidance when the shit hits the fan. I'm doing everything I can for my own kids and my own mental health, and Amy's mom knows she has my support, and that's all I can really provide.
You know what? That's exactly where it needs to be. I mean, if Amy 18 now, let them have each other. Ain't no reason to lose a wink of sleep or a moment's thought on their asses.
Mm-hmm.
To be completely honest, she 18. She gonna do what she want to do. Let that man ruin her life. The best thing you can do is let them ruin each other. Okay.
Yeah.
what is out there for them is out there for them. And
Yeah,
that's where I would leave it. Because I
and
have nothing for them anymore, you
yeah.
know?
And at the end of the day, it sounds like maybe she might have found some evidence of some sort that maybe he had been doing this longer or some sort,
I
since
hope
she's
so.
alluding that there
Hmm.
is justice to come. So if nothing else, for especially for the mom of Amy, I would just, hold off. Don't be so, I know it's really hard. You really want to be, you want to snatch her away and keep her away, but right now she's fighting you tooth and nail. The situation is going to allow that to happen on its own. So
Hmm.
don't be so forceful where you're alienating your daughter, because there's probably
Right.
going to come a time where they're going to be separated. And that's the time when you can try to be more sympathetic and be an ear for her to lean on, so that hopefully you can guide her a little bit more gently into realizing this is not the man for you, and then be able to get her the help that she needs, because right now she's just not willing to listen to it.
Yeah. And I think the real work is going to come after she's done with that man.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because she's going to be looking for something to fill that void. And I hope and pray that it is not drugs. I hope and pray it's not alcohol. I hope and pray it's not another toxic man. We've
Mhm.
seen this happen before. It's cyclical. Like
Mhm.
she's obviously looking for something that she's missing, and the fact that they mentioned that she's from a broken home just goes further to that point. Um, so I really want her mom, even though she's trying to grasp at her ankles to keep her, away from that man. I also need you to have some foresight and to see what's going to happen down the road and try to set up some guards for when that inevitability happens,
Mhm.
because it's coming.
Mhm.
Shout out to the wife, and shout out to the kids, and shout out to Amy's mama. They doing
Yeah.
the best that they can with the shit that they got, and they hitting on all tens as far as I'm concerned. The wife has done a stellar job of handling this. So shout out to her. Thank you for that update, Crystal.
You're welcome.
That was I've been waiting.
I was
I'm
about to
like the
say.
damn listeners. I've been waiting a week for the shit too. Okay.
So
Over a week.
I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth the wait.
Yes, it very much was. Are you ready for the next story?
I am.
Okay. This one is by way of the subreddit r/am I the asshole. And this one is entitled, Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law that she made her bed and she can rot in it for all I care? Hmm. Girl. We finna get into it. So I, 24 male, have been with my girlfriend, 23 female, for a bit over a year. She is the love of my life, and the only problem is the witch of a mother she has. My girlfriend is very low contact with her mom, as she is a judgmental, crazy alcoholic. She has constantly criticized my girlfriend to the point of her crying every time she talks to her. Well, we are expecting our first child. It was not planned, but a welcome surprise, and we are super happy about it. My girlfriend told her father, and she is very close to him, and my mother in law overheard it. She has demanded that we use the name she wants and that it's her way or no way. I told her that we as the parents are going to choose what name our child gets, and she is going to have no part in that. Well, as expected, she told my girlfriend that either she uses the name she picks or she won't ever be in our child's life. And to that, we told her that's probably for the better. She then started crying, saying that we can't ban her from seeing her grandchild. I told her that if she thinks I would ever allow her to be near our child, then she must be absolutely delusional. She had a meltdown and said that we can't do that to her, and to that, I told her that she made her bed and she can rot in it for all I care. Then we left. I told my parents about what happened, and they told me they understand my frustration, but I can't be that disrespectful to someone and just tell her off like that. My girlfriend is on my side, but my parents made me second guess myself. So, am I the asshole? Can you believe it?
Throw all the grandparents away. Throw them all
All
away.
of them. Every single one of them.
Really? You can't be that disrespectful to them? She has terrorized her daughter to the point where she cannot even have a conversation with her without making her cry. And you want me as a parent to willingly give that person access to my child? No, absolutely
Absolutely not.
not. When she
Absolutely not.
said that if it's not my way, then I'm not going to be a part of the child's life, you should respond with, don't threaten me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a good time. Because, lady, me and you just had the same thought. I'm glad we're on the same page.
We are.
I'm glad we're in agreement with this because we are not going to go your way. So it's a good thing you've already decided that you will not be a part of this situation. So I'm not kicking you out. I'm not banning you from anything. I'm just doing what you said you were going to do, which was not be a part of our situation because we're not using that name.
And I mean, damn, so
like
ain't using that name.
What do you mean? It's this way or no way. What do you mean? There's no way. What are you gonna do?
Literally, any way that I choose. I don't understand why you think
the pregnancy doesn't stop because you said no. That's not.
Listen, baby,
that's not
if you don't choose the name that I chose, this baby will spontaneously combust in your lap upon naming it another name.
You're just gonna stay pregnant until you see my way of things.
Until Crystal decides that she's not gonna go back in the past and off herself, and that will. Crystal, is this story about you? Oh my God! Is this like the loop? Are you being born now, and this is your chance to stop yourself from being born?
This is what's gonna start it.
Oh my God! Maybe you're trying to save yourself by going to this time and making sure that you aren't named Crystal, because the prophecy says that Crystal will bring the end times, and you are the grandma. The grandma is the baby. Oh my God!
This sounds like a great sci-fi Inception type questioning, like where you have to watch the movie several times to understand it.
Mm-hmm. I know somebody in the audience right now has you know that conspiracy board that they have in all the movies where it's like all the strings and shit, and they're like, okay, he said that she's the grandma and the baby, but she's also going to the past and she's the host of the podcast
about herself.
About herself.
It took them 33 episodes to get to and 33 3 and 3
is 6 the end times.
Yes. Ooh. And as for the parents, maybe they just don't realize how bad this mother, like, he's not really clear on that. So I'm going to give them a little bit of grace and assume that maybe they just don't realize how bad this woman is to the girlfriend. Maybe. Just a very tiny bit.
It's hurting me to agree.
I'm saying that to say that I'm not saying to cut them off like you would this other mother, because she definitely deserves to be cut off.
Okay.
But maybe you need to explain the situation to your parents more. If they still agree with their original assessment, yeah, you may. That may be in a relationship you need to kind of look a little sideways at.
Put under the magnifying glass.
Right.
Like,
but yeah.
I can't imagine me going to somebody, because I'm sure he went to them to vent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? This actually reminds me of a story. Can I tell you a story real quick? Of a situation very similar to this, right? of going to your parents thinking that they're going to back you up, and they throw your ass under the bus. Because I done gave my mama props on here, and now I got to knock her down the peg, okay? So when I was in, I think 8th grade, I was in 8th grade. My friend, very close friend to this day, has an older sister, right? And her older sister was so much older than us that she was out of school. So she came to visit us one day at the school. And low-key, I used to be in love with her sister. I had the biggest crush on her sister, okay? Still think she is beautiful to this day. And so she came, and it was me and my 2 other friends, and she had came to eat lunch with us. So we were so excited. So she was like, my friend whose sister it was, my classmate, she had to go to her locker. And so we all would go to the computer lab. We were in math class to do
Mhm.
like math shit on the computer, whatever, turn of the century,
Mhm.
computerized, whatever. So I was standing behind the three of them, just off to the side a little bit. And we all asked for permission to go to the locker together. My teacher said, cool, no problem. Just come right back and get to work. Great. We go down there, go ahead, whatever. We come back probably like 7-10 minutes later. Because kids we long-winded.
Mhm.
We come back to the classroom. So we said bye to her sister. My two friends go in front of me and I come in last.
Uh-huh.
And then my teacher stick her arm out and she's like, and where have you been? And I was like, I was with them. Well, I didn't give you permission to go. And I said, but Miss Blank, I was right there with them. Like we all asked together. Like how did you not see me? And so my friends, excuse me, piped up and they was like, he did. So Miss So-and-so, he did like ask and he was right there with us. And she was like, no, I did not see him. I did not give him permission to go. So I have a thing about when I feel like people are lying on me and it takes me to another dimension. Because Crystal can attest, I am a very calm, even keel, chill person.
Yes.
But if you put the right combination in,
Yes.
it's another situation.
It's fun times.
So
for me as a spectator.
Ooh, because it's not it's I can go years without it happening. But if you put in the right combination, baby. So she happened to put in the right combination because I was like, you're not going to lie to my face. And I know what happened. So she was like, I said something smart. And she was like, you know what, Mr. So-and-so, because I ain't going to say my last name, I'm going to call your mother. And I said, you know what? I'll call her for you. And I brushed past her ass and I went over to the phone and I said, do. Mama, Miss So-and-so said that such and such and such and such and and then I didn't ask for permission and I asked for permission. And she was like, okay. And then my teacher was like, may I speak to her? And I was like, go ahead, because she better cuss your ass out. And then all I heard was, yes, yes, ma'am, because this, that, and this, and that. And I told him, yep, and when he came back to the classroom, because he's supposed to be in here doing work. Okay, I will tell him. Bye-bye. Your mother says she will talk to you when you get home. I said, oh, say less. Girl, when I got home, my mother cussed my ass out from the rooter to the tutor. I just knew I was right. I just knew. I knew I was right. And my mama cussed my ass out from top to bottom. And she was on the same thing that this person's parents was on, where she was like, you don't ever in your life, don't ever in your life disrespect no adult like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you act. That's not how we act in this family. I don't care if you in the right or the wrong. You let me handle it. You don't talk to nobody like that. And I was like, but she was like, give me that phone and take your ass in that room and do your homework. And that was the end of it. And that was the end of it. And I mean, it is a valuable lesson. It's very radical because that lady was dead ass wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lesson of like, you really got to bite your cheek sometimes.
Yeah.
And take it on the chin and then do the shit on the back end. Get their ass on the back end. Okay.
See, I don't know, because it's like on the one hand, it's like, but Mama, you didn't have my back. You could have still cussed me out, but had my back at the same time.
In the moment.
Yeah, in the moment, have my back.
But to redeem her, when I was in high school, there was another situation that I would tell at a later time where she actually did 2 times actually in high school, where some people tried some bullshit with me, and we talking teachers and administrators tried some stuff with me, and she deaded that shit immediately. So she it took her some years,
Okay.
but she redeemed herself. She redeemed herself. But those are stories that I'll tell when they make sense to tell later on down the line of the podcast. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, in the end, I will definitely say not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Not at all. Not at all. Well, thank you, Crystal, for indulging me in that. And here we was like, girl, are we gonna make
Are we gonna make it?
Are we gonna make it? And here we are at the end of the podcast. Look at us. Look at the Lord. Well, thank you, Crystal. And thank you all for joining us for another illustrious episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast. If you like what you heard, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. We are on a bunch of podcasting platforms. So leave a 5-star review wherever you are, and make sure you leave a written review and let people know what you love about the show. Y'all have been sharing, especially this week. I don't know what it was about this week, Crystal. Maybe they knew we needed it.
Yeah.
But y'all have been sharing love, especially in the YouTube comments, on Instagram and other places. Make sure if you take that text, copy and paste it into Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that you're listening, so people can discover us and people can fall in love with the shit that you fall in love with about this show. I don't know what you fall in love with because I ain't shit. But I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? If you like what you saw on today's podcast, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe on YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, or you would like to share your own story with us, please do so at teaandcrystal@gmail.com. That's teaandcrystal@gmail.com. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast and on Instagram at Tea and Crystals Pod. Now, Crystal, is there anything you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here?
Yes, just a few points. First of all, for all of you who have commented, whether it's on our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok, our YouTube, and we have not answered yet, please bear with us. Like I said, it's been a very tiring and long week, and we are adjusting to a new routine. So we will get to you guys eventually. We will get to answer some of your comments. So we haven't been as engaged as we usually are this week, but we will get to you. So just be patient. And as for, I wanted to highlight one more person in particular. I hope I'm saying your name right. Erlinda Morales. You commented on one of our last episodes. And I just want to say it was a very beautiful comment. Thank you so much. It was seeing comments like that is so exciting. Yeah. You're not the first person to do a comment like that to us. But you are the latest. And I just want to say to those of you who make comments like Erlinda does, or to Erlinda herself, like, we appreciate it so much. The love, like, after a long week, seeing something like that really makes me happy and it makes me excited. And I wanted to make sure we did see it. We will comment on it and we will acknowledge it, because it's a very special thing for us to see things like that. And we're really, really, really happy for you guys to be here with us. I
concur, Crystal. I'm glad you highlighted that, because as Crystal said, we be making it work behind the scenes, okay? But things do we are in a bit of a sprint in our everyday lives. So seeing that and seeing that y'all actually appreciate the effort that we're putting in does not go unnoticed. So
no, not at all.
Concur with what Crystal said. Thank you for saying that, Crystal.
So we will see you guys next week. And we hope you guys have a wonderful week until then. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, y'all.